10. Naomi. My blood roars in my ears as I stare at the dark forest and its trees that take the shape of the devil's horns. Sebastian remains unperturbed behind the steering wheel, the sharp edges of his face shadowed by the lack of light. The darkness makes everything sinister and haunting, clawing shivers from my skin. What do you mean by get out? I hate the way my voice cracks, lowering to a trembling edge. Instead of answering me, he steps out of the vehicle and rounds it to my side, then yanks the door open. My heart jolts at the same time as he grabs my elbow, his warmth like a knife about to stab me. Bleed me. Leave me for dead. My nails dig into the seatbelt and I shake my head. There's no way in hell I'm stepping 1 foot outside. Oblivious to my reaction, Sebastian's head peeks inside, and I cease to breathe as the side of his body flattens against my chest while he undoes my seatbelt. The razor-sharp edge of his touch slashes through me, figuratively cutting my clothes and sitting threateningly against my sensitive skin. As soon as he releases me from the seatbelt, he pulls me out of the car. I stumble to my unsteady feet, hissing in a sharp breath as if I've been through a physical workout. He drags me toward the trees, even when I try to wiggle free from his hold. The car is no longer visible, but its distant headlights cast a shadow on his face and the taut muscles of his body. That's when he finally stops. What is this? I regain some strength in my voice and use it as armor. The unfamiliarity of the situation is a disadvantage, though, and I feel like grasping for solutions I already missed. Sebastian tips his chin at the forest surrounding us from every side, at the tall, gruesome trees and the pitch darkness that's broken by the sliver of white light shining from the moon. But even that is interrupted by the height of the trees. There's still the car's lights that cast a gruesome sheen on his face. Or maybe I'm only imagining that due to the way my pulse keeps skyrocketing. This place is wrong. Utterly so. He chose to stop in a deserted place I wouldn't recognize even in daylight. The road isn't visible from here, and only the distinctive sounds of owls and some hissing of night animals reverberate around us. Have you heard about Blackwood's Forest, Naomi? I cross my arms over my chest and suck in a sharp intake of air. I'm pretending to be all composed when I'm, in fact, on the verge of freaking out. This looks like an episode of my true crime podcasts. Maybe Sebastian is a serial killer, serial rapist, serial creep. Maybe he uses his looks and charm to lure girls, do all sort of fuckery to them, then kill and bury them in the forest where no one will find them. Or maybe you watch too much true crime. Clearing my throat, I choose to hold on to my fake calm. Of course I have. I've lived in this town for 4 years. Then you must have heard about the numerous burial sites scattered around. They say our town doesn't have a high crime rate, but maybe that's because they were all hidden by influential people a long time ago. Maybe some of the disappearances reported to the police weren't runaway cases after all. Okay, now I'm scared. Scratch that. My survival mode kicks into full gear like when I was being followed by that van last night. No one would talk about murder and crime in the middle of a dark forest unless violence is on their mind. My knees knock against each other and my throat closes before I choke out. Why are you bringing all of that up? To put you in the mood. In the mood for what? He uses his grip on my elbow to draw me close. So close that I'm drowned by the sheer presence of him and how easily he could squash me. Did I find the massive body difference attractive at my house? How could I, knowing he could have used it to erase me? The hot tenor of his voice vibrates with his breath on the shell of my ear. To run, Sundara. Run? Yes. He releases me. I won the bet, and I want you to run. Why? Why do you think? Despite the darkness taking refuge all around us, I can perceive the gleaming light in his tropical eyes. They seem like a hunted island now, about to lure me to its shores and allow me no way out. So I can chase you. A A craggy sound catches at the back of my throat, and something strange sparkles in my chest. Something I don't want to know the name of. I stare up at Sebastian and pause at how close he is, almost like he's intending on tasting my words and breathing in my air. That is, if he already isn't. I'm not playing. My voice is weak, barely audible in the deafening aftermath of his declaration. Who said you have a choice? Either you play or I leave you here. The road is about a 20-minute walk, so you'll find your way. Eventually. I bang a fist against his chest. You can't do that. Why not? When you're the one who's bowing out of a bet you lost. But why? Why would you do this? Because it's fun. And considering the way your breath hitched at the thought of being chased, I'm sure you'll enjoy it too, baby. God, is he that attuned to my body language? Well, I guess I'm focused on his as well. But at the moment, his face is a blank slate. I can't get anything past the shadows scattered across it. Why didn't you choose someone else who's willing to play your sick games? Silence greets me, and I can almost see the twist in his lips. It has to be you. We don't know each other. I proved that I know you, Tsundere, and it even pissed you off. But I trail off when he raises a hand, indirectly shushing me. Time to run through the forest. If I catch you, I win another bet. If you manage to get back to the car first, you win. I'm going to give you a head start. 10, 9, 8. I step backward, my heart hammering at the intensifying gleam in his eyes. I have no doubt that he'll leave me in the middle of this godforsaken forest if I don't play along. 7, 6. I consider dashing past him and trying to find my way back to the car, but he's standing there like the Grim Reaper, the low light casting an ominous, terrifying shadow on his face. My foot catches on a small rock as I turn around and do as he says. I run. The deep tenor of his voice echoes after me. 5, 4. If it's possible, my heart pounds faster as I disappear between the trees. I have no clue where the hell I'm going, or if maybe he has some goons hiding up here, waiting to gang rape me. Wrong thought, Naomi. Super wrong. I'm already terrified out of my mind. Adding those ominous scenarios doesn't help one bit. Sebastian's voice fades, then disappears, which should mean I'm far enough away. I hide behind a tree to catch my ragged breathing. If I return to the car, I'll be able to end this whole thing. Problem is, I've gone too deep into the forest and took several turns so that I have no idea how to find my way back. A hissing sound comes from behind me, and I don't think as I break into another sprint. My hoodie sticks to my skin with sweat, and my legs tremble, and I wish it was only due to exhaustion or fear. I really wish there wasn't this morbid feeling wrapping its tight knuckles around my shivering heart. A feeling so close to excitement. I should be thinking about the possibility of other predators lurking in the forest, whether in human or beast form. I should be disgusted with how deep down something inside me seems to be unchained. But none of those emotions rise to the surface. None of them is as potent as the bubbling in my veins. I widen my stride, but try to keep my steps as hushed as possible against the crunching leaves and pebbles. It's as if a part of me has lost its shackles and I'm letting everything loose. A blinding wave of adrenaline tightens my muscles, and I run so fast, the branches start to blur in my vision. Or maybe that's because of the sweat trickling down my forehead. The feeling of being chased in a pitch-black place with no hope of finding an escape is strange. On one hand, it's exhilarating to have the power of running away. On the other, the thought of being caught is completely terrifying, but takes my breath away, too. Or maybe it's more than breathtaking, depending on what happens afterward. I take a detour and pause when I see a white light, the car's headlights. My pace picks up, and I push through the branches with tightened fists. The light gets closer with each step until I'm smiling with triumph. I can do this. Only a short distance separates me from the Tesla. I can't wait to stand there with a huge grin while I wait for that loser, Sebastian. I'll make him regret playing with me in the first place. A shadow catches in my peripheral vision and I shriek as it charges toward me. Sebastian. I recognize his jacket, but I don't wait to look at him as I dart away from him and continue my run. My lungs scream due to the lack of oxygen, and my heart rate picks up to an alarming level with every thud of his footsteps behind me. Thud. 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 The fact that he could catch me at any second, that he's getting closer, douses me with equal parts fear and bubbling energy. I think I'm going to throw up from the force of it. The trees clear in front of me, and I'm finally in direct view of the car. I'm near the point of collapsing, but I carry on, pushing my burning muscles to their limit. Then, a strong hand wraps around my hoodie, and I squeal as I'm wrenched back. I lose my footing and fall down, my back hitting the solid ground. I wince as my head bounces off the dirt, but my reaction soon freezes like the rest of me. A dark shadow looms closer until Sebastian's body hovers over mine. A sinister smirk curves the corners of his sinful lips. Got you. I don't think as I thrash and wiggle against his wall-like chest. The physique I've admired for years could easily be my demise right now. The remnants of my adrenaline-induced energy roar to the surface with a final wave. Slamming my hands against his chest, I claw, then try to kick him, but he grabs my wrists, easily overpowering me. If anything, he seems to find it amusing that I'm even fighting, judging by the growing smile on his lips. There's nothing fake about this one. Nothing star-like. Nothing for show. Because right now, he's not even attempting to hide his true self behind it. He let it loose, allowing me to see what type of deviant he actually is. One who gets off on chasing, on catching me, on making me helpless and at his mercy. My harsh breathing echoes in the air as I squirm and hit, as I wiggle and arch my back. That's it, tsundere. Keep fighting and clawing. It's such a fucking turn-on. As if to prove a point, he lowers himself so that a hard bulge presses against the soft flesh of my belly that's exposed due to the struggle. My eyes widen, but it's not only from his reaction to the chase. It's also due to the knot that slowly formed at the base of my stomach when I was being chased, and has continued to grow while I've fought him. Am I defective? How could I be this attuned to this sickness? Just when I'm contemplating whether I should keep fighting and feed off Sebastian's depraved side, he releases my wrists and eases off me. For a second, I remain sprawled on the ground, bemused and shooing the remnants of disappointment scattered deep in my gut. Is it over? My voice is choked. Wrong. Nah. I won, remember? So? So, you have to give me what I want. And what do you want? At this point, I only wish for this to be done so I can go home, curl up in bed, and have a conversation with my screwed-up head. Sebastian reaches for the fly of his jeans and slowly undoes the button. Your mouth on my dick.
11. Sebastian. The day I dreaded is here. The day where I can't keep my mask in check. The day where I can't control my sick, twisted cravings. I've gone through a million defense mechanisms to bottle it all in. I played the social game and the diplomatic one. I excelled at maintaining a facade and painting a different image in other people's heads. Not once have I let myself slip, despite the countless temptations, despite the blinding urges and the compelling chances. Not even during my hot-blooded teenage years. I've excelled at self-control, having learned from my grandparents and Nate that the lack of it would only land me in trouble. It'd make me end up like my parents, disfigured in a foreign land. For someone with a savage command over emotions, I can tell when I'm on the edge. When my mask, that's almost become a part of who I am, can no longer remain intact. Because here I am, standing over Naomi as she lies on the ground. The moonlight and the car's headlights cast a glow on her delicate features. But there's nothing delicate about the stupefaction written all over her face. She's on her back, her bare thighs locked in an awkward position, and her hoodie is twisted up at her sides, revealing her belly. My attention is stolen by the erratic rise and fall of her chest, and her round tits that I felt the fullness of earlier and should have had in my mouth. At the reminder, my dick hardens until it's fucking pulsing against the confinements of my jeans. When Naomi stood me up tonight and I decided to ambush her at her house, I didn't count on it going this far. I only planned to tease her a little, to press her buttons and watch her adorable reaction to losing control. But then I kissed her again. I touched her. I smelled her scent, some shit with lily and peaches that I wouldn't usually care about, but I now want to take it to bed with me every night. But most of all, I felt the moment a portion of her guard fell down and saw a hint of vulnerability. I saw someone scared of the unknown, but curious about it at the same time, and I had to explore that. I had to keep tonight going and take this to the next level, one even I didn't realize I was capable of. I've always fantasized about violence, but the chase? Fuck me. The chase nearly had me come in my pants from the thrill alone. Watching Naomi sprint through the trees, scared but determined, stirred an ugly beast, one I've been keeping under wraps ever since I learned about its existence. But now, I can't. Now that I had a taste of Naomi's fear and tasted her subtle excitement on my tongue, I crave more. And this need is different from that adrenaline-induced feeling during a game or the obligation to maintain control that's been ingrained in me. This thing that's blossomed inside me is primitively twisted and sickeningly raw. And yet, I haven't put an end to it. I won't. She provoked this part of me, and we'll both see it to the very end. Naomi sits up using her shaking hands as support. She takes a few moments to catch her breath and swallows audibly as she ogles my bulge. If there was ever a moment I was proud of my size, it's right now. I revel in the way her dark eyes widen and her upper lip twitches, but whether it's in awe or in fear, I have no idea. When she speaks, her tone is quiet. What if I don't want my mouth on your dick? Is that why you won't stop staring at it? Her gaze flits to mine, and even under the dim light, I can see how dilated her pupils are, almost like they're turning black. She lifts her chin and hardens her voice, but there's still a tremor in it. Maybe I'm staring at it because I want to cut it. Or look at it. You have a wild imagination. Was it also my imagination when you trembled in anticipation? Or when your lips parted the moment my dick touched your stomach? Yes? You don't sound very convincing, tsundere. I pull down the zipper of my jeans and free my thick, erect dick with a low groan. I honestly don't remember the last time I've been so hard to the point of being on the verge of exploding with a mere touch of my hand. Naomi's breath visibly hitches as she openly watches me, her face paling. Her beautiful mouth parts, accentuating the prominent teardrop on her upper lip that I sucked and nibbled on not too long ago. If I do it, her huge fuck-me eyes meet mine. If I get you off, I win. My lips curve in a smile. My little cheerleader catches on fast. I like that. It makes the game even more fun. But you can't make a bet when I'm collecting my win, baby. You made a bet when you were collecting your win earlier. Why can't I? Clever fucking minx. What if you don't succeed? She lifts her shoulders. Then you win. I like that idea. In fact, I like it so much that I'm considering not coming and torturing my dick just so I can torment her further. Do we have a deal? She implores. I give a quick nod. On your knees, Naomi. She gulps, the sound echoing in the silent forest around us as she moves into position. Her bare thighs are tucked together and strands of her jet black hair stick to her face when she lifts her head and stares up at me. The tang of anticipation and the tinge of fear on her face do strange things to me, aside from making me want to fuck her face until it's smeared with her tears and my cum. You have to open your mouth for the whole process to start, Naomi. She does so tentatively. Fuck. It's so small. I don't know how the hell she'll fit me inside her. I release my dick and stifle a groan. I need your hands on it first. She hesitates for a second, and I command her again, but with a jerk of my head instead of using my voice. Surprisingly, she understands the unspoken order and reaches her petite hands toward me. The moment they cautiously wrap around my length, almost like she doesn't know how to touch it, I briefly close my eyes. She strokes me softly, too softly. I focus on taking hard, guttural breaths so I won't come from the mere brush of her skin against mine. When I reopen my eyes, Naomi is staring up at me and then looks at my dick while she strokes it, as if she's reading my reaction to her. Tighten your hold and do it faster, I grunt. She picks up her pace, but it's not enough. She's still uncertain, treating me with kid gloves like I might break when it's the other way around. The only one susceptible to breaking in this situation is her. Don't be scared of applying pressure, you won't hurt me. Naomi tightens her tiny grip and moves it from the base of my dick to the tip. I hiss in a breath and she pauses, her movements unsure before she resumes her task. While I don't mind being fondled by her, this is neither the time nor the place. Take me in your mouth and stop the innocent virgin act. She glares up at me, her gaze burning in the pitch blackness, and I expect her to let her sarcastic side loose, as usual, but she slowly guides me inside her mouth. Her technique is awkward at best as she tries to fit me in as much as possible. Is this a tactic so she can get away without sucking me off? In her attempt to stuff me in, her teeth graze my dick and I grunt as I grab a handful of her hair and wrench her head back. No fucking teeth. Her eyes widen, but she nods as she closes her lips around my dick and sucks at a moderate pace. Are you sure you want to get me off? Because at this rate, I'll be falling asleep. She frowns and sucks harder, a challenge sparking in her eyes, but she's not dropping the act of pretending to be clueless. Wait a fucking second. Maybe it's not an act. Holy fuck. You've never put a dick between those pretty lips before, have you? It's barely visible, but a slight blush creeps up her cheeks as her gaze turns downcast. I tighten my hold on her hair and pull her attention back to me, her huge eyes imploring, almost begging me to tell her what to do. Why is that such a turn-on? I shouldn't help her win, but I couldn't give two fucks about that right now. The fact that she's on her knees for the first time ever, that she's so inexperienced in giving blowjobs that she's actually looking at me for pointers, is a moment I want to tuck in a secret box and revisit later. A weird sense of possessiveness grips me by the fucking ball. She's like this for me. Only me. Use your tongue, I tell her firmly but not harshly. She complies, unhurriedly at first, as if getting a feel for me, but then her rhythm picks up, matching my thudding heartbeat. Hollow your cheeks as you suck, baby. I growl. Naomi is a fast learner. She doesn't even need me to tell her how to alternate between sucking and licking, and figures it out on her own. Her technique is still sloppy at best, but she makes up for it with the force of her determination, with the challenge shining in her dark gaze, with how her entire body is in tune with her strokes. Stop. I grit out from between clenched teeth. She does, her brows drawing together. Open your mouth the widest possible and keep it that way. When she does, I pull out to the tip, then thrust in, hitting the back of her throat over and over. I use her hair to keep her head steady and in the same position. Moisture shines in her eyes and a shudder invades her. She doesn't fight, though. Even as her gag reflex kicks in, even when she drools, her face reddening and the tears finally spill free. They're curious ones, her tears, and there's this primal need pulsing inside me to see more of them, to smear them on her face with my fucking cum. It's the first time I've ever thought about tears in such a way. On her, they're a different way where I can dominate her until her submission rips free through them. Naomi still doesn't attempt to push me away like any normal person who's having breathing problems would. In fact, she tries her hardest to keep her mouth open for me. Fucking fuck. She's a lot more than I initially thought. The need for more shining in her teary eyes matches the raging urge inside me. I don't hold back as I thrust to the back of her throat, claiming her wet heat over and over again. My groans echo the sloppy sounds of my dick sliding in her mouth, rubbing against her tongue and slamming at the back of her throat. I choke her with it until her cheeks and neck turn a deep shade of red, and her face is a map of drool, tears, and pre-cum. I use her with a brutality that consumes me and her, judging by how she gasps in air, then quickly opens her mouth. She might be inexperienced, but the pleasure is nothing like any professional-level blowjob I've had before. I want to last longer, to dominate her until nothing is left, but I can't. The orgasm is so strong and sudden that it takes me a while to empty my cum down her pretty throat. Then, before I'm done, I pull out and finish on her face, smearing her petite nose, her plump lips, and her soft cheeks, even her eyelashes. I mark her in a way I've never felt the need to mark anyone before. Fuck. She won. But it's not only about the bet. As I stare at her satisfied expression, even as cum and tears mar it, I feel like she won something else, too.
12. Naomi. If going to college was hard before, it's now close to impossible. On Monday, I walked down the hall like a druggie experiencing symptoms of withdrawal. Not only are my fingers twitchy, but I keep watching my back as if expecting a sudden attack. Okay, that's an exaggeration. Or is it? I honestly don't know anymore. I spent the whole weekend overthinking until my head nearly exploded. I didn't find the same level of joy in binging on my true crime shows and podcasts. Instead, I kept replaying what happened 2 days ago in the haunting darkness of the forest. The chase, the blowjob, how Sebastian came all over my face. It should have been humiliating, right? But I found myself staring at the mirror, recalling how I looked after he drove me home. I was a mess, but not in the negative sense. Far from it. It's the most beautifully haunting mess I've ever had the chance to witness, to breathe in and feel up close. Sebastian sent me a text that night. No clue how he got my phone number, or even knew my address. But then again, the Weaver surname could probably get him anything he wants, including people's private information. Sebastian, I'll dream of my cum on your face, Sundara. Then he sent 2 more on Sunday morning. Sebastian, do you want to meet in the forest for a morning run and other things? I miss your mouth already. If you want mine, just ask. Wink emoji. A few hours later, he sent me a picture of himself, half naked with droplets of water traveling down his cut abdomen. He has 2 small tattoos, 2 lines of script at the top of his right pectoral muscle. One is in Arabic and the other is in Japanese. I don't understand the first, but the second is a saying in Japanese that literally translates to, "The weak are meat, the strong eat," as in survival of the fittest. I can't stop wondering about the reason he got it, and if the Arabic words mean the same thing. I totally didn't ogle him, though. Okay, that's a lie. I think I may have been staring at it since he sent it, and that's such a bad idea. Not only is he distracting, but the view has triggered memories of the night at the forest that I haven't exactly been able to wipe from my head. He also sent a text attached to the image. Sebastian, you could be having a shower with me right now, but you are a coward. I'm not a coward. I'm just selective about my battles. And judging by the way he triggered parts of me I didn't even think existed, it's safe to say Sebastian isn't a battle I can take on right now. Or ever. Though I'm tempted to. Really, really tempted and curious and confused. But I didn't reply to his texts. I just couldn't. So, here's the thing. I've always noticed Sebastian, but he's shattered the image I had of him in my head. I thought he was like the rest of the football players, but with some sort of baggage hidden behind his exotic eyes. Turns out the baggage is a perversion, a sexual deviation. Otherwise, why the hell would he get off on chasing me and coming all over my face afterward? But instead of being disappointed in him and erasing him from my thinking, I've all but magnified him. For reasons unknown, I'm interested in those parts of him, in what made him the way he is, and how he manages to hide it so well. But most of all, I want to know why I reacted to it the way I did. Because when he took control of my mouth and smeared me with his cum, I burned to touch myself and relieve the ache that throbbed between my legs. Something brushes against my arm and I jump, then release a breath when Lucy appears by my side. I remove my headphones, letting them hang around my neck. "Oh, it's you." She studies her surroundings and the random students passing by. "Who did you think it would be?" "No one." "I don't think so. You're not usually jumpy." "I stayed up late," which isn't a lie. "So, traitor, where were you the entire weekend?" "I told you Raina was having a sleepover at her apartment. Then I went with Mom and Dad to visit Grandma." I roll my eyes. "Did Raina make you drink enchanted potions of black magic made of her pubic hair?" "Ew, no." Lucy laughs. "It was cool. We talked boys in the squad." "Wow, I'm glad I missed the fun." "What did you do over the weekend, besides worshipping serial killers?" "Haha, very funny. And that's exactly what I did." She observes me closely as if it's been ages since she last saw me. "Nothing else?" "Nope." I wish I had the courage to tell her about Sebastian and the dubious things that happened in the forest. Though we did talk on the phone about the kiss on TV. I called Sebastian 1,000 names and cursed him to the darkest pits of hell. Poor Luce had to calm me down and bribe me by giving me her notes for the upcoming exam. If I tell her that I met the asshole, sucked him off, and let him ejaculate all over my face, she might call me crazy. Or perverted. Or abnormal. Truth is, I'm scared of admitting my feelings concerning everything that happened over the weekend. What if she thinks there's something wrong with me? In our fucked up society, men get away with it, but women are always judged for the tiniest perversion, even by other women. Lucy is generally open-minded, but I'm not sure to what extent when it comes to that small part of sexual fuckery. And it is a small part. I saw the promise for more in his eyes when he dropped me off that night, and I'm not sure whether I'm excited or terrified. Maybe both. Lucy lifts her shoulder. "If you say so." I watched a weird indie movie, though. "Oh? What type?" There was a woman who went on a sexual discovery mission." She giggles. "Good for her. Maybe you should tag along." "Me?" She taps my arm. "I love you now, but you're too uptight when it comes to sex." "It's called being cautious." "Too cautious, maybe," says the girl who only has sex with the lights off. "That's not a prude thing. I just don't want to look at their faces." Yeah, because you fantasize about Prescott fucking you, not whoever's there." She slams her hands over my mouth and searches around us, probably to see if anyone heard. "Shut up! How the hell do you know that?" I remove her hands, laughing. "Because I'm your best friend, dummy. I know you." "I know you too, and I can tell something has changed." She narrows her eyes on me. "What is it?" "The weird movie. It stuck with me and I can't chase it away." "Do you have to? If you enjoyed something, it's allowed to stick with you." "I didn't enjoy it." My voice is too defensive. "It stuck with me because of the graphic details." "No, hun. You watch brutal retellings of serial killers' crimes, and you don't bat an eye. But graphic sex is a trigger? Not when it concerns other people, but it might be when I'm the one on the receiving end." I swiftly divert the conversation to Raina and the cheer squad, and Lucy gladly gets absorbed in the subject as we get to class. For the rest of the day, I avoid the political science department. where the bastard Sebastian studies. Thankfully, our department, sociology and psychological science, is far enough away that he and I could only run into each other in the cafeteria. So I suggest that Lucy and I have our lunch near a fountain behind the building, where I usually go to escape the witch hunt of the calorie police, aka Brianna and her fat-shaming squad. But despite my tactical escape, I can't bail out of cheer practice. Just when I'm contemplating skipping today, Raina catches me and nearly confiscates my damn headphones again. When I get to the football field, my senses are assaulted with him. He's not even close, yet I can feel him. Lucy is saying something, but I don't hear a word coming out of her mouth. My eyes instantly find his light ones. He's talking to Owen, but his sharp attention is completely on me. Sebastian is downright beautiful in everyday clothes, but he looks like a god in his football uniform with those 2 streaks of black underneath his eyes. He winks, and it's like I've been hit with a thunderbolt. I immediately cut off eye contact and hurry to the cheer squad. Now he must think I'm into him or something. Way to go, No. I'm restless during the entire practice, waiting for it to end with bated breath so that I can retreat and rebuild my walls. I barely manage to keep from looking at him, even though I feel his attention on me the entire time. When Raina calls it a day, I practically flee from the field. I spend more time than needed in the shower until almost everyone leaves. When I come out, Raina and Prescott are talking to the coach in the office adjacent to the locker room. Their voices are clear, but not their words. Hopefully they'll leave before I'm done. I'm not in the mood for jabs today, or any type of talk, actually. My sense of self has taken a jab, and I need to carefully nurture that part of me back to life. I'm sliding my panties at my legs when the door opens. Letting the towel fall, I speak without turning around. "Give me a minute, I'll be right out, Luce." The voice that answers me is completely different from my friend's. My spine jerks upright when it echoes around me. "Take all the minutes you need. I'll be right here." 13. Naomi. There are a few possible reactions I could have to seeing Sebastian in the locker room. The most logical should be anger. If not that, then maybe embarrassment. Confusion, even. But the thing that beats loudly in my chest is so similar to relief. What is that supposed to mean? Is there any logical explanation under the circumstances? Sebastian's gaze darkens as he runs it over the length of me, his tongue darting out to lick his upper lip. "I knew those tits were beautiful." That's when I realize I'm standing in front of him in nothing but my panties. I jerk backward, grabbing the towel and holding it against my naked chest. He steps closer, the tenor of his voice low and chill-inducing. "I'll see you naked sooner or later, baby. Hiding won't serve any purpose." "What makes you think I want you to see me?" "Oh, you do." He jerks his chin in my direction. "You're trembling with excitement." Maybe I'm trembling with anger. Not with your pupils dilated and your cheeks blushing. He reaches a hand to my face and I flinch at the last second, so he only grabs air. I have no clue how I'll react if he touches me, and I'd rather not find out. If it were up to me, I'd be running away from here, even in my half-naked state. But still, my legs won't move. My heart won't stop thumping, grinding in remembrance of the last time I was trapped alone with him. In the darkness. On my knees. I shoo those thoughts away as I keep out of his reach. But if I thought that would save me from his clutches, I thought wrong. His hand shoots out in my direction, and before I can think of what he's doing, he wraps it around my throat. His fingers press against my pulse point until my breath is nearly cut off. "Stop fighting it, Naomi." "Fighting what? You?" I try to hold on to my venom, even if his hold around my throat blasts a strange sensation through my limbs. "No, you." "Me?" "It's not me you're fighting right now, Tsundere. You're going up against yourself, trying to erase the part that let go in the forest. You dislike succumbing to your carnal desires, even if a part of you is trembling for it right now. Even if your eyes are screaming at me to fuck you from behind like a dirty little slut while your coach is next door. And guess what? That part is the truest thing I've ever seen of you. Something dark and sinister drops to the bottom of my stomach along with his words. But the last thing I want is to get lost in them or the meaning behind my reaction. So I blurt, I don't want you to fuck me. The fact that you focused on that part proves that you do. You just find it hard to let go. As it happens, I like that about you, and I intend to bring you out and have you own that sexuality, baby. I'm not your baby. You are now. So how about you release that towel and let me see you? No, and if you force me, I'll fight. I do like your fight, your squirming, and how you make me fucking hard, but it's not your reluctance I'm after. When I do see you, it'll be under both our terms. He strokes my pulse point, a hum ripping from his chest. Do you hear your heartbeat? The excitement in it? That's what happened in the forest, you know. The chase and the wrestling made you hot and bothered, and being on your knees added fuel to your fire. Tell me, did you touch yourself as soon as you got home? No. My voice is too weak, too embarrassed. I did. One orgasm wasn't enough, and I had to jerk myself off in the shower to the memory of your hot little mouth. He glides the pad of his finger over my bottom lip. My dick misses your lips. I think it was love at first sight. Shut up. The only way for me to do that is if you get on your knees again. Never. Never say never, baby. I slam both hands against his chest, exasperation getting the better of me. But my voice is still breathy, abnormal. Why me? Because it's you. That's not an answer. It's a perfectly adequate one. I just can't wrap my mind around the fact that you want all this depravity with me when you have the entire campus at your beck and call. The entire campus don't make me horny as fuck after a newbie blowjob. You do. So how about you step down from your high and mighty tower and come down to my level? So I can service you? Among other things. In an alternative reality, maybe. You don't mean that. I totally do. Does hearing me say no bruise your superstar ego? This isn't about my ego. It's about yours. Oh, give me a break. It's true. Are you telling me that if I say no, you'll leave me alone? No. There, your ego is bruised and you'll force me to bend to it. I told you. I find no pleasure in taking without consent. In fact, I'm more interested in fighting for it. Guess what? You just gave me a reason to fight, baby. And I won't leave you alone. My chest swells at the meaning behind his words. It shouldn't, yet a part of me can't stop the urge clawing at the walls of my heart. The voices of the coach, Raina and Prescott, rise in volume from the adjoining room, and that manages to shake me a little out of my stupor. Leave for now, I whisper. Remove the towel. If they find you here, my family name will take care of me, and you, if you play it smart. This is coercion. Not if you don't want to. You can open those pretty lips and call for the coach, cause unnecessary drama. Or you can give us what we both want and drop that fucking towel. When his fingers slowly peel from around my throat and he steps back, a part of me feels as hollow as the deserted lockers. For some reason, when he was clutching me by the neck, I was in a trance, similar to when I was at the forest. One where I could let go and not have to worry about the consequences. Now it's gone, and I want it back, at any price. Sucking in a deep intake of air, I unclench my fingers from around the towel and let it fall down my body. My nipples peak at the slight contact with the cool air, and I shudder. Sebastian tilts his head to watch me, and I keep my hands at my sides, even if every part of me screams at me to hide. If I do, I'll seem insecure and weak. Two things I've been fighting my entire life. His heated gaze travels from bottom to top, stopping at my breasts that physically ache under his gaze. Your body is made for fucking, baby. It's also made for kicking you in the crotch. A chuckle rips from him. It's sudden and so carefree, I'm caught off guard, and in the worst way possible. Why does he look so beautiful when he laughs? Shouldn't there be some sort of a hazard warning for that? I love it when you act hot and cold, Sundara. He steps closer, his laughter dying down, and he clutches me by the hand, slowly guiding me to hop onto a bench. I'm now taller than him as he stands in front of me. What are you doing? Freeing you. Before I can figure out what's going on, he lifts one of my legs and I squeal before I bite down on my lips to seal the sound. My palm slaps on the wall behind me for balance as Sebastian rests my leg on his shoulder and dives straight between my legs. His teeth nibble on my folds through the panties and I yelp, my heart jolting into overdrive. His fingers dig into my other thigh as he licks and nibbles on my pussy with a savageness that leaves me breathless. Oh, God. Shh. He'll hear you. The rumble of his voice against my aching core adds more pressure to the already building sensation. My eyes widen as he adds a finger and rubs on my folds until an aroused sound echoes in the air. Feel that, baby? That's your wet cunt begging me for more. Shut up! Are you embarrassed by how much you want this? How much you really love the debauchery of it? No. He slides the panties away from my pussy and pounds 2 fingers inside in one go. Your tight cunt disagrees. My legs shake so powerfully I'm barely standing. I grip a handful of Sebastian's hair for balance as my body slackens against the wall. His tongue licks my swollen clit, then nibbles on it with his teeth as his fingers power deep into places I didn't know existed. It's rough and brutal, absolutely savage in its nature, so that all I can feel is him and all I can smell is his spicy scent. There's nothing to save me from the moment, from the impact that I'm crashing onto. A wave like I've never experienced before grabs hold of me and drags me under. My heart roars so loud I'm scared it'll stop altogether. Maybe I'll die in the throes of pleasure. Maybe this was always supposed to be the way to go. The build-up is strong, but it's not as frightening as when the orgasm actually slams into me with blinding force. My moans echo in the air and I release Sebastian's hair to slap a hand over my mouth. I forgot that Coach and the others were right outside, that they could walk in on us at any second and see Sebastian eating me out and fingering me at the same time. The image adds more intensity to my orgasm and my moans. I'm shaking so hard my standing leg nearly buckles. Sebastian peeks from between my legs and licks his lips suggestively. Best meal in a while. 14. Naomi. Something is off. I'm off. Ever since Sebastian had his tongue and fingers in and all over my most sensitive part, it's like I'm an entirely different person. Because I want it to continue. No, I actually want another scene like in the forest, where I'll be on the receiving end this time. Or maybe it can start like in the forest and end like just now. I still have that bet, so I can ask for it. I frantically shake my head. What the hell is wrong with me? Is there some loose screw in there? Instead of finally leaving me alone, Sebastian exits the locker room first, saying he'll wait for me outside. He leaves me panting and hornier than when he first walked in. It takes everything in me to put on jeans and throw on a shirt and my leather jacket before I go out. The late afternoon chill assaults my sensitive skin as I head to the parking lot. Sure enough, Sebastian is waiting in front of his Tesla with Lucy. I hurry toward them, my cheeks about to catch fire. Why is he talking to her? Is he telling her about how shameless her friend is? And how I came all over his tongue while he ate me out? My thoughts trail off when I see them smiling and in a vibrant mood. Sebastian is generally very good to look at and admire, like those all-American boys who live the dream on behalf of most of the population. Not only that, but from my observations, he can be a great talker, a charmer, a trait he inherited from his senator granddaddy. Everything about him is perfection, like his sharp features, designer clothes, and sophisticated manner of speech that no one could ever pull off as naturally as he does. And yet, there's the hidden side of him, the dirty talking, perverted, and utterly destructive side that he showed me over the past couple of days. A side that I keep gravitating toward, despite myself. Lucy, just like everyone else, is in awe of the perfection he showcases to the world. The star image, the background, and the power his family holds. But I'm infuriatingly attracted to the other side of the coin, the dark, shadowed one. And that's dangerous, because it might lure me in and never let go. Why couldn't I be like Lucy and everyone else and just focus on his shallow existence? More importantly, why couldn't he be shallow? Because even his body language right now is relaxed, his arms at either side of him, his shoulders at ease and his features welcoming. He's making my best friend feel comfortable more with his body than with his words. Just what power does he have to make her fall for his charms like that? And you forgot about yourself now. I shoo that tiny voice away as I slide to my best friend's side and grab her by the arm. Hey, Luce. Sorry I made you wait. It's okay. Sebastian told me you have plans. No, we don't. Yes, we do. Sebastian winks at Lucy. Does she always play hard to get? Yeah, sort of. My friend's eyes shine with joy at being included. He made her feel like her opinion matters, as if he already figured out that shyness is her weakness, and he'd get brownie points by being friendly. Ah, I knew I'd have my hands full with this one. He nudges her shoulder with his. Give me some pointers, would you? She'll give you pointers on how to get the hell out of here. I jerk my head toward his car. Leave. Not without you. I want a proper date. And I'm not giving it to you. No. Lucy clutches me by the wrist and whispers, You don't have to be so aggressive. If she knew what happened over the weekend and just a few minutes ago when Raina, of all people, could have walked in on us, she wouldn't be saying that. Sebastian lifts a shoulder. If you don't come with me, I'll just stay here. Suit yourself. I hope you freeze to death. Cruel. He twists his lips into a pitiful look. Lucy, can you help convince her? In return, I will tell you about when she lost her mask while her leg was over my... I slam my hand over his mouth, cutting off whatever nonsense he was about to say. God damn him. He'd really tell her about what just happened, wouldn't he? This guy has absolutely no shame. His larger hand engulfs mine and slowly removes it. Does this mean you're coming? Fine. As if I have a choice. Have fun now. Lucy hugs me, skips ahead, then squeals behind Sebastian's back and mouths, FaceTime later. I roll my eyes as she disappears in the direction of her car. I like the way she calls you No. It's cute. Only Lucy and my mom are allowed to call me that. I'll add myself to the short list then. No. My cheeks heat at the sound of my nickname coming out of his mouth. Since when did it make me hot? Clearing my throat, I blurt, What if I find a nickname for you, too? My family calls me by my full name. My uncle calls me Rascal. You can call me Bastion or Seb like everyone on campus. I prefer your uncle's version. Why am I not surprised, Sundara? Stop calling me that. But you are. He strokes the pads of his fingers over my cheek. My own Sundara. I try to pull back, but he loops his hand around my nape, keeping me caged in place as he continues his ministrations on my face. How do you know that word, anyway? I try to elbow him, but he anticipates it and twists his body out of the way, grinning. I used to watch a lot of anime. Otaku, I mutter. I know what that means, and since you do, too, then you're a geek as well. What's your favorite anime? I don't have one. Mine is Hunter x Hunter. The manga is better. Aha, so you prefer manga. Noted. Let's buy you some and fuck on top of them. It takes everything in me not to crack a smile at the tone of his voice. Does everything need to be about sex with you? 80% of the time. I'm trying to free your dormant fantasies, after all. I don't have fantasies. He lowers his head, surprising the hell out of me as he stares straight into my eyes with his imploring ones. The stuttering just proved you do. I knew you were special. With him being so close, the only thing I can breathe is his fragrance and hot breaths. His mouth is inches away from mine, his lips slightly parting. God damn it. Stop ogling his lips. Just when I'm about to pull away from him, an annoying voice filters in our direction. If it isn't Naomi. I push Sebastian away as Brianna, Raina, and a few others from their exclusive club saunter by us. Damn it. Damn it. The last thing I want is to be seen in Sebastian's company by this band of thieves. They'll never let me live it down, and will make a whole big case about how he's out of my league and blah, blah, blah. Ray. Sebastian greets her with ease, but at least he's not trying to touch me. She raises her brows at me. You aim big. Don't you have some people to torture or make their lives miserable? She smiles. Maybe. Yours included, Naomi. Brianna screeches. Go take a hike, B. It's Bree. Raina inches toward me and whispers so only I can hear her. Careful what you get yourself into. You never know what happens in dark corners. My breath hitches as she saunters away, followed by her click. Oh my God. Did she see? No, it's not possible. It was only the two of us in the forest. But maybe I was so caught up in the role that I didn't notice what the hell was going on around me. I stare at Sebastian. Did you tell her? Tell her what? Never mind. While they're somewhat close, Sebastian and Raina aren't so close that they'd sit around and tell each other their perverted fantasies. My perverted fantasies. This is your idea of a date? I stare at our surroundings. It's the forest, again. Sebastian drove us to a hidden big rock at a nook at the base of the hill. It's near the place where he chased me over the weekend. The late afternoon sun casts rosy and orange hues all around us and in the distance. I should be apprehensive, maybe even terrified. But being back here is once again filling me with that sense of relief I felt when he walked into the locker room earlier. We grabbed some McDonald's on the way, and we have the boxes between us on the rock as we eat. Sebastian nearly finishes his double burger in a few bites while I take my time. He lifts a shoulder. I assume that if I took you to a restaurant, you wouldn't be comfortable. Your restaurant of choice is the Grill where everyone kisses your ass. Of course I wouldn't be comfortable there. He smiles. If it were any other girl, they'd be fussing about how I don't want to be seen in public with them. I'm not other girls, and I don't care about the public. You prefer being alone. He didn't voice it as a question, as if he knows exactly what I'm thinking about. This part of him is scary, and I want to escape as far as I can from it, and yet my feet won't take me anywhere. I'm glued in place, muttering. Sort of. To read manga. I don't do that. Do you hoard them? The amusement in his tone pisses me off. Yeah, and masturbate with them. Happy now? No. Now that you put the image in my head, I need the details. Or a demonstration. Both are acceptable. In your dreams. Besides, it's all digital now. No one buys physical manga anymore. The geeks do. I'm not a geek. Oh, sorry. An otaku. Screw you. Believe me, there's nothing else I'd rather do. But we have to balance things out for that 20% non-sex part. Or maybe I should reduce it to 10%. What do you think? I think you have sex problems. I'm a healthy 21-year-old male in his prime, and that comes with a strong sex drive. And it's my mission to make you feel that it's all normal, natural, chemical. What if I don't want normal? He finishes his burger, eyes shining with mischief. Then I can show you abnormal. That's not what I meant, you pervert. I was thinking about different positions. Where did your head go, pervert? My cheeks flame and I stuff a few French fries in my mouth to stop from incriminating myself further. Sebastian runs the tip of his fingers over my cheek. You have a cute blush. I told you I'm not cute. Easy, Sundere. So now what? We're just gonna sit here while you annoy me? I annoy you? That's news because you don't know me, no. I know you're a rich kid from a rich family with political shit going on. Oh, and you're the star quarterback nobody shuts up about and keeps shoving down everyone's throat, mine included, by the way. Does that sum it up? Not even close. You just described the image I project, which is so similar to your metallic goth satanic follower image. Does it express who you are on the inside? Of course not. Then why do you think mine does? Because I want it to. Because I'm still holding on to the hope that he'll indeed turn out to be shallow. Yet the more time I spend with him, the more I'm certain the opposite is true. After chewing a bite of my burger, I choose my words carefully. No, I don't. I believe everyone has layers they hide from the outside world. Precisely. Just like how we're both hiding how much we enjoyed that chase and everything that happened after. Sebastian, it's a layer that you refuse to acknowledge because you're ashamed of it. You're not? No, it's who I am, and there's nothing to change about it. But you're hiding it too. Not because I'm ashamed. Then why? To play the social game. But I don't have to with you because we're compatible. I snort. How many girls have fallen for that? None, because I've never found one compatible enough to say it to. Then keep searching. Why would I when you're right in front of me? I'm not one of your toys, Sebastian. No, you're more. If it were anyone else, they would have screamed bloody murder the night I asked you to run. But you played along, fought, and clawed. Anyone in my position would have done that. Not while having fuck-me eyes. He reaches a hand out and wraps it around my nape. My breath hitches as I swallow the bite of food stuck in the back of my throat. My pulse speeds out of control, and it's like I'm falling into a different state of mind from merely a gesture. Not just any gesture. His hand around my throat. Tempting, hovering, threatening. The thought that he could cut off my breathing in a fraction of a second keeps me on the edge in a frighteningly exciting way. And they certainly don't feel so fucking good when I attempt to choke them. What are you saying? I'm saying we're similar. No, you and I. And I'll make you embrace it, even if it's the last thing I do.
15. Sebastian. Coming to the grill used to be normal, and here I'm the center of attention, and I also enjoy the mindlessness of it. The feelings that reach me from everyone around me are a much-needed distraction from my ominous ones. Coming from my background and being my grandparents' favorite charity case has forced me to turn off my ability to feel, or rather to stop relating to others and only watch them from a clinical view. When I'm with my group of friends, I can decompress by observing them and letting their emotions wash over me. Like Owen, for instance. He's loud, crude, and only thinks about getting his dick wet and being drafted into the NFL. He's currently telling the girls his famous story of when he killed a bear with his dad. And while I'd usually re-listen to his ego retelling and even encourage him to go on, I'm in no mood for anything. Correction, I'm in the mood for kidnapping Naomi and chasing her, or fucking her against the hood of her car, or mine. But that's not even the worst of it. If it were up to me, I'd do just that and more. I've been holding on to my fatal thoughts so she won't run the next time she sees me. There's so much more I've been plotting for her and those pouty lips that I need around my dick at least once a day. But I've been playing it safe the past week, taking her to lunch or going to that rock in the forest just to talk. I do kiss her sometimes, and I went down on her again on the top of that rock, then fucked her mouth, but I didn't go any further. Because one, she instantly pulls away the second I'm about to release my beast. It's like she senses when she's in danger and her survival instinct kicks into gear. Which brings me to the second reason I've held back. She needs to feel safe first. She needs to be able to let go on her own, without any force on my part, because while I'm certain we're compatible, while I'm almost sure she craves the depravity I hide, I want more proof. Anything will do, a gesture, a word, or even a silent agreement would be enough. Without any of those, it's no different from grooming her and confiscating her will, and I have no interest in a shell. I need her fight. Her kicks and claws. I need her steel-like will to bend for me only because she wants it to. But most of all, I want her genuine screams, her fear, her everything. And in order for her to give me that, she needs to willingly open up. Judging from how she talks about school and home, I say we're getting close to that phase. How close is the question now. I used to take pride in my patient nature, but that characteristic is non-existent when it comes to Naomi. Devouring her lips and eating her sweet cunt for dinner aren't enough anymore, and neither is how submissive she gets when she's on her knees, letting me fuck her face. I need more. To own her whole, to taste all of her. I take a sip of my beer and relax against the booth. Maybe if I start telling a horror story, Owen will stop with his one-man show. Or I can stop pretending that I like it here and just go to her. That would sound like the best idea if I hadn't planned to make her miss me today. It's the weekend, so I haven't seen her since I dropped her off at her house after the game and kissed her senseless on the porch. During the whole game, I was barely able to concentrate with her in my view. I couldn't stop staring at her tiny clothes and imagining her naked. Or running. In that moment, I fantasized about giving the game the middle finger, kidnapping her from the sidelines and getting the fuck out of there. The thought itself was alarming, but no more than how much I've yearned to see her face every day, or how I've looked forward to simple platonic meals with her, where I've listened to her nerdy side talk about manga and anime and serial killers. She loves the latter more than I'd like. And no, I'm not jealous of damn serial killers. So after last night, I decided that she might be starting to take me for granted. Since I first got her in my sights, she's been reluctant about everything, acting as if she doesn't want me, or what I'm offering, even while her cunt tightened around my fingers and tongue. That's why I created the distance. I didn't call or sext as usual. It's time she gets in contact first. I scroll through my phone and find messages from Grandma telling me good morning and reminding me of her party schedule. Then there's a text from Nate and some others from random people on campus. Nothing from Naomi, though. It's been a whole day and there's still no news. My lips twist. Is she really going to ignore me? Fuck her stubbornness. Do I smell defeat in the air? My gaze slides to my right where Raina has made a seat for herself. Placing one leg over the other, she watches me with what seems like nonchalance, but actually hides her cunning nature. She's a shark who's sniffing for blood. The moment she smells it, nothing will stop her from attacking. While she thinks she's gotten a read on me, that's not entirely true. I've never shown what lurks inside until that night in the forest, and only with Naomi. Everyone else's attention is on Owen, who's still obliviously talking about how he killed that bear. I grin, casually sliding my phone into my Black Devil's jacket. Defeat isn't a word I believe in. It still exists. She tilts her chin in the direction of where I hid my phone. She's a hard nut to crack, isn't she? Not really. Then did you sleep with her? The fucking bet again. No idea why she's so insistent on something childish when I haven't even thought about the thing. It doesn't matter anymore. It probably never did. I take that as a no, she asks. What's taking you so long? Ever heard of the edging concept, Ray? The prey tastes better after it's been chased and brought to its knees. And you think that's possible with Naomi? If anyone can make it happen, it's me. Raina raises a perfect brow as if challenging me, but she doesn't press the issue. Make what happen? Owen drops down on my left after he finishes his show. Raina traces her red nails over the edge of her glass, but doesn't drink. Naomi? Dude! My friend jabs his shoulder against mine. You still didn't tap that Asian chick? Hot, burning fire courses through my veins, threatening to douse the entire table. But nothing shows on the outside.
Thank fuck, aka my upbringing, for that.
If I defend her or show any interest in her in front of them, it'll backfire. Raina will smell the blood she started this whole bet for, and the rest of them will turn malicious. They need to think this is merely a bet. She's such a bitch, I swear. Brianna stabs her fork in her salad. I can't wait to see her fall to pieces. Bree, Prescott says in a semi-warning tone. She's still a part of the squad. Not for long. She flips her bleached hair over her shoulder. You think she'll quit after Sebastian destroys her? She won't, Raina sighs. But isn't that the whole point, Ray? The cheer squad's captain stares at me. Who knows? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Come on, guys, Owen says. She's pretty. Brianna rolls her eyes. You think anyone in a skirt is pretty? Not you. Is that why you keep begging me for a BJ?
There was begging, but not from me.
He waves her off. And you, trying to divert the subject back to you, is called narcissism, Bree. Don't be jealous because I said Naomi is pretty. My teammate Josh licks his lips. She reminds me of those Japanese porn actresses. Do you think she makes those erotic as fuck noises like them? In my mind, I'm jumping across the table, grabbing him by the neck, then bashing his head against the floor. Once, twice, until blood oozes from a crack in his forehead. Then I go on until he loses some of his teeth and starts wailing like a fucking bitch. In reality, I remain still. I don't even reach for my drink. Any change in my body language will betray my thoughts. I've learned not only to conceal my emotions, but also to never allow anyone to read them. Thinking about inflicting violence, imagining the whole scene and its repercussions is what helps me to cope. Not now, though. Josh's words still ring in my head. The fact that he's picturing Naomi in a porn scenario and fucking stereotyping about it burns hot in my veins. I need payback before I'll be able to get over it. Most of those present at the table laugh as he goes on and on about Japanese porn and how he's an expert. If I change the subject, it'll be obvious, but there's no way in fuck I'll keep quiet for any longer. The scenario where his head is bashed open on the ground is rushing faster to the surface, demanding to become a reality. Those sounds are fake, Prescott says. How do you know? Josh points his beer at him. Did you tap a Japanese girl's exotic ass? No, but I know you're being a racist bigot right now, not to mention an asshole. Oh, is the pretty boy feeling triggered? Our teammate taunts. Shut the fuck up, Josh. You're making a joke out of yourself. I stand and leave without another word. If I'd stayed for one more second, I would have made my fantasy come true, but murder isn't on the list of things I want my grandpa to get me out of. I'd owe him for life, more than I already do. Once I'm in front of my car, I take a moment to suck in a sharp breath. I shouldn't be alone, not after I didn't act on another violent fantasy. Maybe I should go bug Nate and sleep on his couch. He's the only person who understands my need to purge and doesn't judge me for it. He's the one I go to when memories of that night become too much. He knows. He listens. One problem, Nate isn't the one I want to see right now. I retrieve my phone in a last-ditch attempt and pause when I see a text from Naomi. The pressure that's been constricting my chest all night long slowly lifts. She texted first. It's a picture, a sketch to be more precise. I've been taunting her to show me her sketch pad, but she always hid it.
Of course I saw it once when she went to the restroom.
I was surprised by the images. She's a hidden gem who has a natural talent at drawing. Sure, her technique needs work, but the gift is definitely there. Stealing peeks at her sketches behind her back is different from how she's willingly showing me one now. The sketch is of a man wearing a dark hoodie and standing in the middle of a room. Traditional Japanese, judging from the background texture. His face is shadowed, and a bloodied knife dangles from his hand. Naomi. Laugh at it, and I will kill you. I can't help the smile that lifts my lips. Her tough love persona is so fucking alluring. I want to sink my teeth into her flesh and taste it up close and personal. All these thoughts of violence that erupt at the thought of touching her are probably wrong, but I couldn't fight them even if I wanted to. Whenever she invades my mind, uninvited, all I can image is throwing her to the ground, grabbing her by the throat, and taking her roughly and without any boundaries. Those scenarios have been reoccurring to the point that my conscious bled into my subconscious and I started having the wildest dreams about them. To me, sex has always been associated with violence, but with Naomi, they're one and the same. Sex is another word for violence. Darkness is another word for freedom. Leaning against my car, I type, Sebastian. Tsundere. Her text is immediate. Naomi. Really? That's your only reply? Sebastian. What do you want me to say? Naomi. I don't know. Your opinion, maybe? I can almost imagine the blush creeping up her delicate throat and to her cheeks, and because I love keeping her on the edge, I wait for a full minute, watching the dots appearing and disappearing as if she's writing and erasing what I assume are curses. Finally, she sends a text. Naomi. You're a fucking asshole. Sebastian. Because I'm keeping my opinion to myself? Naomi. Because you always ask me to show you, and when I do, you have nothing to say about it. You Machiavellian, asshole-ish jerk with the star image, megalomania, and rich boy issues.
I laugh out loud rereading her choice words for me.
Only Naomi would make me laugh by calling me names. Sebastian. Nice to know what you think of me. You seem to have a lot on your chest, so let it all out. Naomi. I also think you have narcissistic issues that your grandparents should find a shrink for. But hey, maybe it runs in the family and you inherited the right genes to be the next annoying politician. Next annoying politician, huh? Not a bad idea since we get the best pussy. Have fucking fun. Peace. Actually, no peace for you. You don't want to hear my opinion about the sketch? You can take that and shove it up your ass. How about I shove it up your ass? Maybe when you're the last dick available. Last dick available to you? I can make that happen, and you won't only take me up the ass and cunt, but anywhere I want. Naomi sees the message, but doesn't reply. That's what she does when she's speechless or embarrassed. She just retreats into her silent cocoon, which usually means she's aroused in one way or another. All the talk about her ass and fucking has turned me painfully hard. My dick thickens against my jeans, and I grunt as I readjust it. If I don't do something about it, I'll spend the entire night in pure fucking torture. I waited for the change, for her to reach out, and it happened. Maybe it's time to take this whole thing to the next level. Though Naomi might not like the change of events.
16. Naomi. I'll be fine, Mom. I balance the phone on my shoulder as I grab a soda with one hand and the remote with the other. Lock the balcony doors and make sure the alarm is activated. I will. The windows too now. You always forget about them. I won't forget. Coughing comes from her end and it turns into a fit before she clears her throat. I want to tell her to stop smoking, that it's bad for her health, but I'm horrible at showing concern. It appears if I were picking a fight and trying to get on her nerves. I guess I take after her in that department, because while I love my mom, I don't tell her that. She doesn't say it either. Declarations of affection have been rare between us since that red night that turned my life into a tragedy waiting to happen. I used to never sleep until she read me a story or watched something on TV with me, and then we'd tell each other goodnight in both Japanese and English. After that night, I withdrew from her and stopped saying goodnight. Mom tried to get through to me in the first few years, inventing new activities to do together. But since I wasn't exactly cooperative, she stopped. I'll remind you later, she says once her fit subsides. Okay. Don't you have a show to prepare? I do. Go on then. She hesitates. No. I straighten on the sofa and pause with the can halfway to my mouth. Dread locks my muscles and all sorts of scenarios ran rampant in my head. Did she find out that I hired a PI? Kai wouldn't have told her, We practically send emails back and forth daily, and he tells me about where he's been and the leads he's following. So far, he's processed the picture and can make out the license plate of the car in the background. He found out that my father might have driven a car with New Jersey plates, so my theory about him being an American is most likely true. Kai found those details after a lot of digging. I didn't know PI work took so long, but that makes sense with all the technical details and asking around he has to do. Mom couldn't have possibly met with him, or found out through my bank withdrawals, since I only do those in small doses, and I pay Kai in cash. It's just my paranoia talking. What? The word scratches my throat on its way out. What do you think of California? California? It has great weather, and you'll be able to leave the small town you hate so much. We're moving? I'm just asking, no. More like you already looked into 1,000 houses and have signed with 3 real estate agencies so we can relocate. Not 3, just 1. Mom, we're supposed to talk about this before you make a decision. It's better for both of us. I've been hearing that sentence since I was a kid when you relocated us from one state to the other, and I'm so sick of it. You're angry, I get it. We'll talk when I get home tomorrow. Forget it. If you want to move, do it on your own. I'm no longer underage and I can live on my own. In fact, I should have moved out 3 years ago, but I stayed because someone begged me not to leave. Oh, let me think about who it was. You. No, Sean. I wipe at the tears trapped in the corner of my eye. I have to study. Bye. Okay. She sounds defeated. Ganbatte. I slouch on the sofa, cradling my head with my hand as I finger my phone. I want to call Lucy, but she said she'd be out with her parents today. I scroll through my last exchange with Sebastian about half an hour ago. When Mom said she wouldn't be coming home tonight, I made the mistake of having a glass of tequila. Being alone always puts me in a weird mood. It gets me to thinking about parts of my life I've been trying my hardest to keep buried. So I thought, hey, a glass of tequila would make me feel better. Apparently, it made me foolish, too, because I sketched something from a scary part of my subconscious and sent it to Sebastian. I hadn't heard from him since he brought me home after the game last night. Something felt like it was missing all day long, and I tried convincing myself it was because I've been conditioned to endure his constant bugging. That it felt peaceful now that he wasn't shadowing my every move. But after that drink, I succumbed to my impulse and messaged him. I showed him a part of me, even indirectly, and his response to that was to be an asshole, a perverted one. My cheeks heat as I read his last lines. I contemplate replying, but just like earlier, I find no words. Just why does he have this type of effect on me? If someone else told me that or spoke about me sexually, I'd poke their eyes out. No kidding, I once got an unsolicited dick pic and I sent him back a monologue about how the site ruined my evening. If Sebastian sends me a dick pic, however... I shake my head. Why the hell am I thinking about Sebastian sending me a dick pic? I raise the volume of my latest true crime show. The ominous events play out in front of me, and I gulp as one of the surviving victims describes the circumstances of the night of her abduction. My mind turns foggy, and I don't know if I'm listening to her or actually replaying what happened. It was dark, and no one else was there. I had to run until I couldn't feel my limbs. I'm such a sick person. I can't believe I'm replaying the thrill I felt that night in the forest when someone else suffered from something far more traumatizing in real life. When did I become like this? When did I turn into a glutton for something even I don't recognize? Is my childhood catching up to me after all? Is the monster from my nightmares real now? I finger my phone before I swipe up the screen. I stare at the sketch I sent to Sebastian, at the invisible eyes and the anonymity of it. All this time, I've tried to bury that part of me. And when it kept appearing in my moments alone and nightmares, I fought it. Then I denied it. And yet, it's still alive. In fact, it's been festering inside me all along. I shake my head to focus back on the documentary. There's a blur of pictures before they move on to the retelling of events. The shot is dark, shadowed, and the suspenseful music makes my toes curl. A dark figure appears at the edge of the screen, and then The lights go out. Not just the TV, the lights are out in the entire house. I freeze as my heartbeat skyrockets. I fumble for my phone to turn on the flashlight, but it clatters to the ground. Shit! I fall to my knees on the floor, and even that sound is haunting in the silent darkness. My fingers are stiff and my pulse roars in my ears as dark images from the past shoot through my head. The smell of the newspaper, the weight of a body, and the blood. Lots of hot blood. My hand feels sticky as if I'm touching it again, as if the motionless body is hovering over me, about to tear through me. I inhale a deep breath. It's not real. It's over. Despite chanting those words in my head, I can't stop feeling the stickiness on my fingers, the liquid heat, and the sound of droplets of blood dripping into a pool. Drip, drip, drip. Then, there's a voice telling me it's all over now, that no one will hurt me anymore. Or maybe, like the shrink said, I could have been hallucinating to make myself feel better. That's what victims do. They escape reality to feel better. But not me. No. My sweaty palm finally latches onto the phone, and I nearly cry with joy as my stiff fingers swipe for the flashlight icon. That's when I feel it. Even before I turn around to see it, I sense a presence at my back, hovering, waiting, biding its time. Maybe it's been there all along. Since I was fighting with my mind to let me go. Since I was a fumbling, trembling mess. I open my mouth to shriek, but a strong hand wraps around my neck from behind, cutting off my breathing. Shh, not a word. We're doing it my way tonight. 17. Naomi. Sebastian. The one who's currently cutting off my air supply while looming from behind me is none other than Sebastian. I'd intended to kick and claw, to yell at him so he'd let go. But not only is he confiscating most of my oxygen by grabbing my throat, he's also yanked both of my wrists behind my back and imprisoned them. My phone has clattered to the ground, and the flashlight outlines dark shadows. Mine and his. We're gigantic on the wall across from us, like some beasts coming out at night to let their instincts loose. If it were anyone else, they would have panicked at being immobilized in the dark by someone who might as well be a stranger. And while that feeling bleeds into my bloodstream, it's not the only one. It's not even the prominent one. The temptation I've been escaping my entire life burns inside me, resurrecting and rising from the ashes like a phoenix. Sebastian, I manage through the small air opening he's allowing me. And I know he is allowing it, because if he chose to, he could choke me to death in no time. Hot breaths assault my sensitive ear as he whispers dark words. Shh. Don't say my name. We're nobodies right now. What? We've played house for long enough. Time to play chase. What do you mean by chase? I'll let you go and you'll run. If I catch you, I'm going to take you, use you, abuse you, and fill your cunt with my cum, and make you choke on my dick until you're crying and begging me to stop. His voice lowers to a threatening range. But I won't stop. My stomach tightens with sensations I've never felt before, and it extends to my core. I'm so stimulated by his words alone that I think I'm going insane, that I'm imagining things. But I can't imagine it if he's here with me. If his thoughts are toying with mine, seducing them, trapping them in a chokehold. Literally, figuratively. The promise in his words is like my worst nightmare and my most coveted dream. Right and wrong, wrong and right, yin and yang. What if I want to stop? I don't recognize the neediness in my voice, and that's when it hits me, really hits me. Maybe this is what I've needed all along. Not the expensive therapists, or the group meetings, or hiding so my mom doesn't see what type of monster I am on the inside. Maybe the solution has been to act on those urges I've felt since I was a teen. Sebastian bites down on my earlobe and I whimper. One word. What? I'm giving you one word to stop it all. If you don't use it, everything is game. What is it? He glides his tongue up and bites down on the shell this time, making me wince as his voice drops. Reality. I shudder, my back going rigid against his hard chest. He's not even touching me, but my clit is throbbing and tingling in morbid anticipation. Inhaling a deep breath, I whisper, Do I not get boundaries? You only get that word. Use it wisely. He releases me and I stumble forward as the rumble of his voice echoes in the darkness. Now, run. I hesitate for a second, contemplating whether or not I have the time to grab my phone. The shuffling of footsteps behind me erases that idea. Not thinking twice, I bolt forward, metaphorically stabbing in the dark until I stumble over something. A table. I grimace as the sting spreads through my feet, but I don't stop. I feel around, my adrenaline level spiking until it's pulsing in my limbs. My heart throbs as I squint, trying to make out anything in the darkness. It's strange how the senses sharpen when our vision is gone. I can feel the air forming goosebumps on my skin and smell the sweat trickling between my brows. But most of all, I can hear the thudding of footsteps behind me, of someone coming after me. Just like that night in the forest, a strange aura overwhelms me and my senses sharpen until it's scary. I dash forward until I touch something. The railings. I grab onto them as I climb the stairs. Every now and then I glance behind me and imagine a shadow on my tail. Only it's not my imagination. He is right behind me. I shriek as I start taking them two at a time. His thudding footsteps follow right after, hard. The sound reverberates through my ears and chest. The rush of energy is so high that I'm physically dizzy. My legs scream with pain, and I trip, falling to my knees with a thud. I lose my balance and I'm about to fall backward, but I catch myself last second. I don't stand, though, or more like, I can't. Sebastian grabs me by the hair and I scream as he pushes me face first into the stairs. My jaw hits the hard flooring and my eyes sting with tears from the impact. I think I've broken something, but apparently not, since all I can focus on is the large body covering me from behind, swallowing me, dwarfing me, dominating me. His hard chest feels like lava against my back. Loud thumps penetrate my ears, and I'm not sure if it's my heartbeat or his, or a mixture of both. He grabs my shoulder blade hard. Where do you think you're going, my filthy little slut? My breath hitches. It's in equal measure because of his words and the new depth in his voice. The raspiness in it, as if he's indeed a different person, a stranger. This is happening. I'm going to ram my bare dick into that tight cunt of yours and rip you apart, and you're going to take it like the dirty whore you are. Holy fucking shit. Is it possible to come by just his words and his hold on me? Because I think I'm getting there. This is crazy. He's crazy. I'm crazy. And yet I buck against him, my ass nuzzling into the hardness of his cock. It's so thick and big, I feel it through my shorts. I feel how much it'll hurt, how much I might not survive this. But it's impossible to stop, not when I've gotten this far. Do you really think you can fight me, slut? I don't know what snaps me, if it's the name-calling or the condescension in it, but I squirm as a roar echoes through the empty darkness. Mine. I twist around, squealing as I hit and claw anywhere I can touch him. His arm, his face, his shoulder. I don't know, but I think I even rip his shirt. My crazed movements are based on pure instinct, as if I've lost the rational human side of me, and I'm just an animal now. Like him. We're both pure fucking animals. He grabs both of my wrists and slams them above my head on the stairs as the shadow of his abdomen flexes over me. I try to kick him as I wiggle, releasing god-awful raspy pants filled with the need to survive. "Let me go, you fucking asshole." I don't recognize my deep voice and the throatiness of it. I sound like I'm really in danger. And maybe I am. The only problem is that I want it. Deep in the darkness of my chest, I fucking need it. Slap. I gasp as the sting registers on my face. He just slapped me and I'm wet. Holy fuck. I'm really insane. "Run your mouth again and I'll fuck you raw in the ass." He grabs my chin with his calloused fingers and shakes me, and I swear I'm dripping into my shorts. I stop fighting for a second, and he uses the time to release my wrists, grab my hair, and ram me against the stairs. I yelp, and my hands shoot for him in a mad act of defense. But it's too late. He's already ripping at my shorts. I kick my legs in the air, fighting with everything I have. I fight like I've never fought before, until I actually believe that I want out of this, that this isn't something I already agreed to by not saying that damn word. Even in my madness, my strength doesn't match his. He yanks the shorts off and throws them away, then all but rips off my panties. I gasp when the gesture creates friction against my swollen clit. He slaps me on the pussy and I squeal, my back arching. The stairs feel so rough against my back, but even they add a strange sense of stimulation. "Look at your cunt weeping for me. Such a dirty slut." "I'm not a slut." He smacks me on my most intimate part again, and I whimper squeal as he savagely thrusts 2 fingers inside me. It's so much rougher than when I handle myself, primal, and filled with a blinding type of control. "Do you feel how my fingers are stretching your channel? Soon it'll be my dick, and it's bigger and harder. Feel your juices coating me and inviting me in?" He rubs the heel of his palm against my clit at the same time as he pounds into me with his 2 merciless fingers, and I'm a goner. A fucking goner. I don't even last a few seconds under his callous ministration as my mouth falls open and I scream. The stimulation is the strongest I've ever experienced, and as a result, I come the hardest and strongest I ever have. The waves roll off me until I think I'm blacking out. "Yes, strangle my fingers before you take my thick dick up this tight cunt." His words add fuel to my orgasm, and I don't think I fall down from it as the sound of his zipper reaches my ear. He forces my thighs apart, not so gently. "Open them wide for me, and keep them there." I try to fight, but he pinches my clit, causing a sob to tear from me. With his hand in my hair, he wraps the other around my throat and powers inside me in one brutal go. My mouth remains open in a soundless cry, and my eyes roll to the back of my head. True, I'm wet. True, I was ready and stimulated from my orgasm, but nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared me for the violation of his huge cock. It's the literal definition of being torn apart and feeling every second of it. A fucking virgin. Even fucking better. The satisfaction and pure sadism in his tone leave me gasping. I can feel your blood coating my dick. The best lube I've ever had. He pulls back almost all the way out and slams back in. Tears gather in my eyes from the sting of it. God, it's painful. It's painful like nothing I've felt before. It's painful like I'm going to vomit my guts out and choke on them. And the most screwed up part is that I'm craving the degradation and the immorality of it all. My brain and body have morphed into addicts, and this is my fix. He drives into me with renewed energy, as if he's indeed trying to tear my flesh and leave me bleeding on the floor. I'm gasping for air, spluttering and sobbing, and even that feels like too much to my battered state of mind. It hurts. Oh, please, it hurts. I don't know why I'm saying it. It's not like I want him to stop. In fact, I'm falling into the sting of pain more than I would ever admit. But he doesn't slow down anyway. He takes it to the next level until my breathing is chopped off. Until all I'm releasing are guttural sounds from deep in my soul. I know it then. He'll never stop, not unless I say the word to end it all. But I don't want reality right now. Even with the pain, I'd rather stay in this alternative world. Yes. You're so fucking tight. His voice is deeper, darker, and laced with a frightening type of lust. Animalistic, even. He rolls his hips and then drives in again, making me see stars in the pitch blackness. The stairs dig into my back, and my air supply diminishes more by the second due to his hold on my neck and how dizzy I am. The fact that I'm being fucked senseless by a shadow in the dark should be any sane person's nightmare. It should twist me up and drag me down. I should be crying because of the pain, and while I am, it's not only that. It doesn't turn me off. It's the exact opposite. I'm so wet that the audible in and out of his cock echoes in the air. The tangible smell of sex and sweat surround us until they're all I inhale. And him. There's always him, hovering over me, immobilizing me in place and powering into me over and over. He goes on and on, ramming inside me like he's punishing me, like I'm a hole he's using to get off. Do you feel yourself strangling my dick? Such a whore, even while being a virgin. I bang my palms against his chest, sobbing, Stop! Stop! So fucking good. He tightens his hold on my throat until I think I'm choking or fainting or dying. But something entirely different happens. I come. This orgasm is different from anything I've experienced. There's no build-up to alert me to the impact or those tingling sensations at my core whenever I'm about to reach a peak. This one is so sudden, like slamming headfirst into a crashing wave. It steals my ability to breathe, think, or react. I go limp, unable to take it all in. I scream, but the sound is muffled by the lack of oxygen. He picks up the speed of his thrusts, causing my back to slide up and down the stairs. It lasts through my orgasm, fueling it, heightening it, before he pulls out. A groan escapes me when my pussy's nerves tingle, indicating how sore and battered it is. I blink in confusion, still caught in my orgasm-induced haze as I stare at him. Did he come already? As if answering my question, he releases my throat, but not my hair, as he crawls up my body and settles on top of me so that his knees are on either side of my face. Grabbing his hard cock in one hand, he slaps me with it across the lips, and I taste the pre-cum. Open that mouth and take me like a good whore. When I hesitate, he hits me 3 consecutive times on the lips. I open my mouth with a gasp, and he thrusts inside, instantly hitting the back of my throat. I choke and attempt to squirm, but his grip on my hair serves as a steering wheel while he powers in with a mad force. He uses my mouth in the most brutal way possible, making me gag on my drool and tears. He barely allows me any air before he drives back in and does it all over again. And again. My jaw is numb and my pussy aches, but the itch inside me is still there, waiting, probing, demanding more. Just when I think he'll keep fucking my face all night long, he pulls out. Open your mouth wide. Let me see your tongue. I do as he tells me, wincing. His hold on my hair is so strong that I think some roots will rip. Before I can mentally prepare myself, hot cum sprays all over my mouth and chin. Lick every fucking drop. I try to, mindlessly running my tongue over the contours of my lips and tasting him, and me. Holy shit, I'm tasting both of us right now. He taps my mouth with his cock, not too hard now, but enough to get my attention. Good slut. And with that, his shadow disappears from over me. I remain in place, sprawled all over the stairs with cum, drool, and tears streaking down my chin. I have no idea how long I stay there, panting. A few moments later, the lights go on, but there's no trace of him. My harsh breathing remains irregular as I lick the remnants of his cum from my lips. Disappointment tugs at the base of my stomach. Reality is here. 18. Naomi. No? What? I stare at my best friend who's been talking for the past half an hour, but apparently I haven't listened to anything. Lucy bumps her shoulder against mine as we head to the lunch table. What's wrong with you? Nothing, I just didn't sleep much. Watching serial killers again? No, contemplating whether or not I need help. Ever since Sebastian left me on the steps of my house 2 days ago with blood coating my thighs and his cum on my face, I've been seriously thinking I have some loose screw that needs taking care of. So no, I haven't slept. Instead, I've spent every moment obsessing over what happened, rethinking every touch and every brutal thrust, every hit and every orgasm. And I got wet in the process. I might have touched myself to the memory, too. That's not normal. That's not how people react to being savagely fucked for the first time after being so paranoid about sex their entire life. That's not how one's virginity is supposed to be taken. But now that it happened, I don't think I'd want it any other way. Something changed that night. Sebastian and I passed the point of no return, and now it's just a huge clusterfuck. It would have been different if he'd forced me. I would have reported him and started an uproar in our town. I would have gone against him and his political ties, even if it meant destroying myself in the process. But that's not the case. He gave me a choice and a way out, one I could have taken before he fucked me on those stairs, one where I could have ended the chase before it even started. But I didn't. I was too addicted to the thrill, and like any addict, I burned for more. For a redo. For the next level. I got what I asked for, and more. He didn't hold back, didn't take it easy, and I found myself slammed into a brutal alternate reality. One I've been thinking about since it ended. One I've dreamt about every time I've closed my eyes. I thought he'd disappear and ignore me now that he got what he wanted. But he texted me yesterday. Sebastian, you sure you don't want my opinion on the sketch? I stared at my phone for a solid 5 minutes, trying to figure out what the hell was he getting at. He couldn't possibly be picking up where we left off in our conversation before he broke into my house and fucked me like I'm a whore. His whore. But I confirmed that's exactly what he was doing when the second text came. Sebastian, heads up, I'm your #1 fan, so don't forget about me if you become a manga artist. My blood ran cold at how he was blatantly not addressing what happened. How could he? How was he able to move past it so easily? I'm nowhere near that stage, considering how much I've been obsessing about it. And Sebastian is the one I wanted to talk to the most. I couldn't actually tell Mom or call Lucy and say, hi, I got raped and I liked it. Or sort of raped, or whatever. Either way, he's the only person I could broach the subject with. And yet, he acted as if nothing happened. So I bit the bloodied bullet and replied with the same tone I used in that exchange. Naomi, who told you I want you as a fan? Sebastian, too bad you don't get to choose who your fans are. One day you'll be having a signing and I'll show up with a copy of your work and kiss you in front of all your other fans. They'll probably cause a ruckus, and I'll tell them it's the perks of being your #1. Naomi, as if I'll let you kiss me. Sebastian, you won't have a choice. Naomi, I'll ban you and ask security to escort you out. Sebastian, that won't stop me, baby. I'll always find a way back in. My heart still skips a beat whenever I think about his words. The fact that I don't have a choice, that he'll always find a way back in. Was he playing a sick mind game with me? Either that or I'm really losing it. Maybe none of what happened over the weekend is real. Maybe I watched too much violent stuff. But I can still feel the soreness between my legs. I've had it for days, despite the baths and reading online tutorials about how to relieve it. That first night, I had to literally crawl and then wash away the blood from between my legs, so that couldn't have been a hallucination or a visceral dream. I've felt the loss of what I considered my secret. Yes, I was a 21-year-old virgin with trust issues because I would rather have died than let a man be as physically close to me as that scum was 11 years ago. But it was different with Sebastian. Maybe because I had the choice, but not really. Maybe because he tore through me and took what he wanted while giving me what I needed. Or maybe, just maybe, it's because my busy brain didn't get to function. Because even if I said no, he didn't stop. When I begged, he fucked me harder. When I cried, he took more. The only way to end it was if I brought us back to reality. But I didn't. Reality sucks. Hey, no. I forced myself to focus on Lucy again as we passed chattering students scattering through in the cafeteria. Yeah? She bites her lower lip, her teeth digging into the flesh. I want to tell you something, but I don't have proof. Something about what? She casts a glance sideways, her freckles darkening with the reddening of her cheeks. It's about Lucy! I internally cringe at Brianna's screeching voice. She snaps her fingers at my friend from her position across the room and beckons her over. There's nothing I want more than to go to her and break her wrist for calling my friend as if she's her dog. Lucy, however, smiles and grabs my arm, dragging me to the queen bee's table. I'm about to twist myself free and leave, as I usually do, to avoid their brand of fat-shaming and veiled racist remarks. But something stops me. Or rather, someone. The cheerleaders are sitting with the football team, meaning Sebastian and his teammates. Only his broad back is visible from this distance, but it's enough to make my throat dry and my limbs jittery. It's enough to push me back in time until my presence is filled with him. This shouldn't be a surprise since the football team often sits with Raina and her favorite cheerleaders. Apparently, it's a habit they've kept from their high school days, since Raina's fiancé used to play with them. Of course, I often avoided this setting like the plague, not only because of the cheerleaders' venomous tongues, but also because I wanted to keep some distance between me and the football team. It failed anyway, and now this situation is reaching heights I didn't think were possible. I let Lucy drag me to the table. My breathing quickens, deepening and hollowing as I catch a glimpse of Sebastian. He's throwing French fries in his mouth as he listens to Owen talking animatedly about a bear. He's just eating fries. The act is so simple, yet I can't stop staring at the scene. His black devil's jacket stretches over his broad shoulders and developed chest and arms. His lean fingers close around the fries before he brings them to his mouth. I gulp, recalling those same fingers inside me as that sensual mouth uttered the most degrading yet arousing things I've ever heard. Since I first met Sebastian, I always found him beautiful with his dark blonde hair, his sharp features, and eyes that resemble the most exotic seed to ever exist. But I didn't realize how dangerous that beauty was until I couldn't see him. I didn't realize how damning it could be until he took from me over and over again. There are degrees in beauty that move beyond the physical, and he now holds a new peak. Because I don't see his muscles as just eye candy. Now it's a weapon. His entire body is, from his mouth to his big hands to his huge cock. Sebastian slowly lifts his head, and I freeze as his eyes meet mine, trapping me in their depths and a pause in his movements. Then he smiles and winks like he's been doing over the past couple of weeks. Come here, Lucy. Brianna makes a room for my friend on her left, and Lucy gives me an apologetic look as she inches over to her designated place. Brianna takes a slurp of her Diet Coke. As you can see, there's no place for you, Naomi. Shoo. Snickers erupt from some at the table. Sebastian, however, isn't one of them. Thank God. Reyna remains calm, too, as she silently chews her salad before she addresses me. It's not like you want to join us anyway, is it? No thanks. My bitch battery is full for the day. Now that I've had my fill of him and made sure that this is reality, I can head to the garden and eat in peace. I turn to leave when a strong hand wraps around my wrist and brings me to a screeching halt. My lips part as I stare back at Sebastian, and then his hold on me. He's grabbing me like when we're alone, savagely, without giving me any room. My thoughts trail off when his assertive voice echoes in the air. But I want you to stay, baby. Silence falls over the table. It takes everything in me not to die of embarrassment then and there, no matter how much I think myself above the social game. Even I can't handle being doted on and called baby in front of all of his entitled friends. Most of them hate me. Lucy squirms in her seat. Then her eyes meet mine, and it's like they're begging me to do something. What, I don't know. She doesn't have a place to sit. Brianna snaps, twisting her pink lips in obvious disapproval. Yes, she does. He tugs on my wrist until I drop onto his lap. I gasp as I land straight against a warm bulge. He's hard. Oh, God. At what point during the conversation did he become this hard? Sebastian's arms loop around my waist, so he's spooning me from behind. I shift, entirely unfamiliar with the position, but he casually tightens his hold around me. If I'd planned to leave, there's no way I'd be able to do that now. Brianna is grumbling about something, and Owen is changing the subject, but I can't for the life of me decipher what they're saying. All I'm tuned to is his warmth at my back, the rise and fall of his chest and his cock that's throbbing against my ass cheeks. Or maybe it's my core that's pulsing. I think I'm going insane, because all I can imagine right now is him inside me, all over me, taking me with no mercy. Sebastian slides his plate in front of me. Eat. I'd rather we talk, I whisper, staring back at him. He brushes his nose against my cheek and I shudder. Then talk. Not here, somewhere private. He pauses, and I'm not sure if he's reading the desperation in my gaze or not. But then he murmurs in a dark tone. The forest, at 7. I gulp as images from that weekend assault me all over again. It takes all of my will to ask, why at 7? He strokes my cheek with his nose, making me shiver. Because it's night, and you become my whore at night.
19. Sebastian. It's not supposed to be like this. When I went to Naomi's house that day and saw through the balcony door that she was alone, I planned to scare her a little, to play a prank by cutting off her lights and then jumping in front of her. But the moment I grabbed her from behind, I knew. I just knew that the child's play wasn't enough. The throb of her pulse beneath my fingers and the hitching of her breath was nothing like I've felt before. Fear. Raw fear that doesn't even exist in horror films. Deep fear that I fed from like a fucking junkie in need of more. So I took it, even when she screamed, especially when she screamed. Her pussy tightened with each of her sobs and wails. I believed the trembling of her limbs and the shaking of her legs as I tore through her cunt. But I didn't stop. Not when she was at her limit, and not when she sobbed or when she begged me to stop, and definitely not when I realized she was a virgin. Fuck me. I never cared much about that, and I ultimately preferred experienced girls. But when her blood coated my dick, a shot of ecstasy burst through me. I'm her fucking first. No clue why she waited this long, but I couldn't give a fuck when she let my dick be the first inside her, and now I'm so tempted to make it the last. Those thoughts intensified my fucked up lust. I took and took until I became the beast I didn't think I was capable of embracing. Turns out, even I could reach new levels, because I have a new surprise for her tonight. After I went home that night, I told myself it would be a one-time thing, that we would both forget about how we fed off each other's darkness and bury the experience in the past. And yet, the thought of repeating it has been pulsing through me non-stop. It's occupied my every waking moment. Right after I got to my apartment, I stood in the shower and jacked off to the sight of her blood on my dick and came faster than a pubescent teen with stamina issues. But I fought going back to her house and climbing up to her window. Attempted to, anyway. It was half-assed, but I picked up our text conversation right where I left off as if nothing had happened. I intended to keep it that way. But then I saw her today on campus. Just the sight of her in her short black skirt and white top made me think about smearing her with my cum all over again. My thought process only consisted of holding her down as she kicked and clawed while I fucked her senseless. And just like that, any attempt of forgetting about what happened that night withered into thin air because the truth is, I can't get enough.
I don't think that's possible in the near future.
Not when my heart thunders at the promise of a chase, of grabbing her by the hair and forcing my dick into her tight cunt as she screams in both fear and pain. Does that make me fucked up? Probably. Do I care? Fuck no. I've screwed more girls than I could count, and yet,
It's always felt as if something was missing.
I've done it rough and demented.
I've fucked them until they couldn't move, but
While that got me off, it wasn't special. It doesn't even compare to the demented pleasure I felt when I tore through Naomi's hymen, breaking her figuratively and literally. In a way, it feels as if I've been waiting for someone like her, for someone who enjoys the twisted shit as much as I do, someone who screams, cries, and claws, even when, deep down, they love every second of it. Someone who begs me to stop, but doesn't use the word that would end it all. Someone who comes by being roughed up. I stand in front of my dimly lit doorway mirror as I zip up my hoodie. A shadow covers my features. I have a face that I get praised for more often than I prefer. I'm called hot, sculpted, a beautiful creation, a modern Adonis. But no one knows the type of monster hidden beneath the physical perfection. No one, except for my tsundere. The Weaver clan excels at being pretty but barbarous, powerful but corrupted. I guess I'd take after them more than I thought. Usually I dislike being put in the same box as my ancestors, but I couldn't give a fuck about it right now. The only need pulsing in my veins is to pick up where I left off with Naomi and maybe take it to newer heights. I look at my watch and it's 7:15. I'm late on purpose so that my pretty little toy stays on her toes. After tying my shoelaces, I step out of my apartment. It's located in one of the buildings owned by a friend of Grandpa's.
because he and Grandma need to keep an eye on me at all times, even after I moved out of their house.
The elevator opens and I pause as my uncle steps out carrying a takeout bag. Nathaniel Weaver is another example of how well we hide behind the beautiful facade. His fancy suits and groomed looks gave him the title of most sought-after lawyer in a magazine once. They said, and I quote because Grandma was proud and sent it over 1,000 times, Senator Brian Weaver's son, Nathaniel Weaver, is the heartthrob of Brooklyn, the dream of every socialite and the hardest fruit to reach. He has the looks of a Greek god, but he's just as cold. And it's true. Nate might have tried to fill the gap the absence of my parents left behind,
But he doesn't play nice with outsiders.
or his own parents at all. He's emotionless and aloof, calm and calculated. And he has this foreign ability to read minds, which is why meeting him right now is the worst case scenario. Can he see the nefarious lust shining in my eyes? Or perhaps he can decrypt my need to inflict pain over and over again. His dark gaze measures me up and down. He does that a lot, intimidating his opponents with silent observation until they crack on their own. Where you going, rascal? I twist my neck and stretch my arm behind my back. A jog? Now? Yeah, I run better after people have gone home. You can also hide a crime better when no one is looking. I grin. That too. What are you up to? Do I need to be your lawyer? Nah. But you're up to something. It's legal, but it could be a little immoral. A lot. But getting Nate's parenting parameter up isn't something I'd play with. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. Aren't you the one who told me legal and illegal don't matter because justice is circumstantial? And yet, here you are, twisting circumstantial beliefs in your favor. Isn't that why you said it? I said it so you'd have no misconceptions about the world you live in. You also mentioned that the concept of truth is an outdated righteous belief that no longer applies to modern society. Truth is the mold we shove ourselves into in order to escape the world's harsh reality. So, in a sense, we all have misconceptions we try to escape in our own way. That's a reach. Then are you implying that you didn't say those words for me to learn from them, or did you perhaps think I would accept them blindly trusting your senior judgment? He smiles, the lines easing from around his usually rigid eyes. Argumentative. I grin back. I learned from the best. You should ditch politics and join me. We'd have so much fun. Being destroyed by Mr. and Mrs. Weaver, you mean? They can't destroy us when we're on the same team. I'd rather play smart, which is another word for safe. I didn't peg you for someone who refuses challenges, rascal. I love challenges, but not when they ruin me. I pat his shoulder. Talk to you later, Nate. He grabs my shoulder in return, his humor disappearing. Don't do anything stupid. That was purged out of my dictionary by Mrs. Weaver. That's what we call Grandma behind her back, sort of like putting distance between us. Apparently she left remains. I recognize impulsive foolishness when I see it, and your eyes are shining with it right now. Don't worry, it's all under control. It's what your father said, and we both know how he ended up. My jaw clenches. I'm not him. Good, because Mr. and Mrs. Weaver aren't the forgiving type. They weren't with your father, and they won't be with you. I wink. Everything is game as long as I don't get caught. He shakes his head once. What? Isn't that what you teach your clients? No. If you don't see what's wrong with your statement, I won't spell it out for you. And with that, we both leave my apartment building.
I wait until Nate gets into his car before I head to mine.
I had planned to run to the forest, but his unexpected visit made me lose time I don't have. 15 minutes later, I park down the road and hike the rest of the way. The sun has finished its descent past the horizon, leaving a small line of violet in the distance. The color black is slowly staking its claim on the tall trees and the dirt path. My muscles tighten with exertion as I run the distance upwards, keeping my steps as quiet as possible. It's not hard. If anything, it doesn't take much effort to be a shadow. It's been in me since the moment I had to disappear so I wouldn't meet my parents' fate. The moment I became a shadow and watched their vacant eyes stare at nowhere as blood marred them. Logically, that's when my need for violence started. I recognized it when I was a boy and had to do something about it after I beat up one of my classmates in elementary school. My grandparents got me into coping therapy and I had a shit ton after that. But the only way I could slowly get past the need to hurt was when I embraced sports. Nate used to play catch with me and then wrestle me to the ground, making me kick and scream. So I chose football. A violent enough game to wean down my constant need for violence. I wanted to go with boxing when I was a kid, but Grandma clutched her pearls, which was an indirect no. I've managed to survive all this time. Until her. Naomi.
I can no longer control my violent urges when it comes to her.
They blossomed the first time I chased her through this forest, then they peaked when I took her like an animal on the stairs. And now, they can only go up. My feet come to a halt behind a tree when I make out her silhouette in the darkness. She's standing by the rock, grabbing one of her arms as she stares sideways. I'm more than a half hour late, yet she didn't leave. She waited like a good prey. I don't have to see her face to recognize the darkness. I can feel it, even all the way to here. I can taste it in the air, and if I touch her, it'll break through me and yank out the beast inside me. My breathing deepens, and I slowly let the metaphorical shackles drop around me. I don't have to put a mask on right now. or pretend that the twisted feeling lurking under my skin isn't there. I get to let go, to feed on another human's screams and fights. By the time I'm finished, she'll realize that not ending the fantasy was a big fucking mistake. One we'll both pay for.